Welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. You can find a different command of Jesus every weekday at our Bible plan, bible.today.church. A lot of helpful information there on how you can make Bible reading just a part of your daily life. We like to look at the commands of Jesus because that's what Jesus said to do as we make disciples, to teach them to obey all of the commands that he gave us. Today's Jesus said, which is a soundbite version of a command or a statement of Jesus. Jesus said, "Be happy, show mercy." This comes from Matthew 5 and 7, which is part of the Beatitudes, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to read a traditional translation of this verse, Matthew 5:7. "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." A more modern translation, the New Living, says, "God blesses those who are merciful, for they will be shown mercy." And then a more complicated translation that kind of takes the original language and puts it into more English words says, "Spiritually prosperous are those who are merciful, because they themselves shall be the objects of mercy." This group of 9 statements of blessing in Matthew 5 is part of a longer talk of Jesus called the Sermon on the Mount. And these 9 statements of blessing are not passive words and passive statements. They're actually active. And the English word blessed doesn't really give us that full understanding of what Jesus was conveying there. I like to use the phrase the be happies instead of the Beatitudes, because really what Jesus is saying is this is the way to be spiritually prosperous. This is the way to be happy. This is the way to blessing. And to put blessing in the context of mercy was very counterculture in that day. The pagan Roman Empire considered mercy a weakness, and in fact to show pity was despised. It was the exact opposite of what they would consider happiness. The Pharisees considered the weakness and struggles of others as the result of sin, and so they were very judgmental. What did that weak person do wrong to deserve this struggle? And Jesus called them out on that in Matthew 23:23. He said that they ignored the more important aspects of the law: justice, mercy, and faith. They ignored scriptures like Proverbs 21:13, who says, "Those who shut their ears to the cries of the poor will be ignored in their own time of need." So when Jesus said, "Be happy, show mercy," we need to look at some of the other things that Jesus said about mercy. In Matthew 18, right after Peter asked Jesus, "How many times should we forgive?" Jesus tells the story basically about a man who owed millions of dollars. He begged for mercy from the king, the ruler that he owed the debt to, and the king showed him mercy and forgave his debt. And then this same guy who had just been shown mercy ran into somebody who owed him a few $1,000s, and he had the guy locked up. Even though he had been forgiven of millions, he wasn't willing to forgive someone else of just a little. And then the king heard about it and punished the one who had been forgiven of so much. And Jesus said in Matthew 18:33, "Shouldn't you have mercy on your fellow servant, just as I had mercy on you?" That was what the king said to the one who was not willing to show mercy. There is happiness in showing mercy because we reap what we sow. We harvest what we plant. That's God's model of creation. That's the pattern, kind after kind. And we tend to give ourselves mercy by justifying wrong actions that we do by what we know our intentions are. Well, our intentions were good, our actions just weren't up to par. And yet we usually evaluate others' actions by assuming the very worst of intentions. And that is no way to be happy. Real happiness comes as we extend mercy. Have you ever met someone who's very, very critical and also happy? Someone who's really judgmental and evaluates everyone, who is also joyful? No, it's impossible. The road to happiness is paved with mercy. Jesus said, be happy, show mercy. How can we put that